Hey team, how's it going? It's Adrian here, and today we are talking about gear, and in particular, is this the one lens that you need for your video and photos? So the other day I had a shoot. There's a 10-kilometer walk up and down a fell. It was going to be raining. I had to take as little as possible, and it had to be nice and light, and it had to be weather resistant, or at least weather sealed. So I had to decide which lens to take, and it got me thinking, if I could only have one lens to do all the work that I do, what would I choose? And I figured it was this, and this is the RF 24-105. So the reasons why I chose this one, well, it's 5 reasons. Let's go through them. Reason number 1 is that it is relatively small and light. Now, if you are used to crop sensor lenses and things like that, this probably isn't going to seem that small and light. It is quite a large thing. When you compare it to a 2.8, however, these ones are the similar length, but this is so much heavier. To have this on the camera all day would be horrific. So smaller, lighter, and especially considering that the focal length is so much longer than this one, definitely a bonus to have a small, light lens. And talking about the limitations of the 24-70's focal length, we'll talk about this one's focal length, which is 24-105. Now that is quite a long range. You've got 24 millimeters, which is considered a wide angle, and you can use that for interior photography. You can use that for close-up shots and landscape shots as well. But then on the other end, you have got 105, which is, it's a pretty decent telephoto. It's not going to be on par with a 70-200 or something like that, obviously, but it's still pretty decent. And it provides a good contrast to the wide angle as well. So it's that little bit of extra reach that you wouldn't get with a 24-70. And again, that makes it a bit more useful if it was your only lens. So because it's got such a varied focal length and a convenient focal range, you don't need to worry too much about changing lenses, which is really good if you're on a run and gun shoot where changing a lens could cost you a shot, or changing a lens could introduce moisture or dust into your camera system or into the back of the lens. And again, having to clean that out or just have dirty sensor, it's not going to be ideal for a shoot. So if you're doing something where you can't change lenses because of the environment or because you don't have enough time to change lenses, it's handy to have one that covers such a varied or such a wide focal range. Something to bear in mind, if you are using this on a crop sensor camera, then if you get a 24-105, it's going to end up being more like a 35-175 or something like that. So it's something to bear in mind if you are using anything but a full frame camera. But like I said, there are equivalents which compensate for this, so you can find something similar. Another thing that makes this lens really useful is that it has a constant aperture. Now what that means is when you change the zoom, when you zoom in and out, certain lenses, they change the aperture. Once you're zoomed in, the exposure is changed, so you need to adjust it unless you're shooting automatic. If you're shooting manual, which a lot of people want to end up doing because they have more control over it, you end up getting more professional results, then it's going to be something you want to bear in mind. And again, makes this a very useful lens. Reason number 4 is one of the main reasons why I took it on that shoot the other day. Was I knew it was going to be raining, and I knew I was going to have to rely on my camera's weather sealing. And the weather sealing on your camera is only as good as the weather sealing on your lens. So fortunately, most 24-105s have a weather sealing gasket right over there. So it's got a gasket on it, which means that it's going to resist some moisture. Not all the moisture, as I discovered on the shoot. So yeah, reason number 4, weather sealing, very, very useful for your lens if it's going to be your only lens and you're going to be shooting in all types of weather. This obviously doesn't apply if you are using a camera that doesn't have weather sealing. Number 5, the reason why I think this is a good all-around lens, and probably the one lens that I would recommend to somebody who's starting out their photography or video. It's cheap. I feel okay throwing it around like that. It doesn't scare me that much. It doesn't scare me at all. It's cheaper than a lot of ones, especially the f2.8 lenses out there. This is a much cheaper option. This is something that it's more accessible for a lot of people, and you can get really, really good quality. This thing is sharp. Most 24 to 105s are very, very sharp. So it is great to have access to that level of quality at a reasonable price. There's so many different variations you can get, or so many different manufacturers you can get. They're pretty reasonably priced. So that makes it a good choice for people that are starting out. So a quick recap as to what makes this good. It is small, relatively. It has a great focal length or focal length range. It has a constant aperture, which is handy. It is weather sealed, and it has a relatively good price as well. It's all relative, isn't it? I mean, if you buy a lot of video gear, everything seems cheap because that stuff's so expensive. Yeah, if you want to charge double for anything, just put the word cinema in front of it. Why stop at double? You can triple it. Why stop at triple? 10 times the price. So while this is a jack of all trades, master of none, it's always better than a master of one. And that's what this is. Jack of all trades, very handy, very useful, and I would recommend it if you could only ever have one lens, or you're just starting out. I hope you found this useful, and if you have, please do like and subscribe. If you disagree or you agree or whatever, just put it in the comments below and we can have an internet fight like everybody does. We'll keep it civil. And I shall see you in the next video. Take it easy.